Hey everybody, this is Mikko Lagren from ML Sound Lab, and I'm very happy to announce that the ML Legends Cat Pack is out right now, and I'm gonna show you what it's all about. I'm just gonna show what it sounds like. So it's based on 4 different speakers, and these are all pre-Rola speakers. If you don't know what pre-Rola means, then I'll just quickly explain it to you. Rola is a company that's been tied to Celestion. It's actually one of the factories, I believe, that they used for manufacturing the speakers. And around 74, 73, around that period, they started using a Rola label on the speakers. And before that period, they were just called Celestion, just like they are now. But those Celestions before the Rola period are considered the best speakers of all time, mainly because they used these Pulsonic cones. And there is kind of an era where you can find Rola speakers with Pulsonic cones. I also own some of those, but these speakers are the real deal. These are pre-Rola, so very rare, and I actually own a bunch of these. So I kind of selected the best sounding ones out of everything that I have for this pack, and I'm trying to keep it really small and fast to use. So all these speakers are from between 1968 and 71, so they are kind of all from the golden era, so to say. This M75 is the one that most people consider to be the real greenback. This actually has the same T code, which is the manufacturing code for the speakers that Celestion even use nowadays for their greenback speakers. So this is essentially what the real original greenback is, the M75. And this IR is just using one microphone, the M160 ribbon mic. So I'll play a riff from an artist who is known to be used these speakers back in the day, and that one of those bands that made this speaker super well known and sought after. Among so many other guitar players, everyone from Eric Clapton to that was AC/DC. So AC/DC, this is the most common greenback that you'll find. The next speaker that I have here is the H55, and this is famous mostly because Jimi Hendrix used it, and Jimmy Page used it, and so many other, Richie Blackmore, like so many epic guitar players used this speaker. And the interesting part here was that essentially the 55 Hertz option is a bass cone. So these are originally bass cabinets, but people like Jimmy felt like they wanted more of a fat tone, so they started using these. And the difference between these is not that they have more low end, because I don't really think that. I just feel like the high end is smoother and the frequency roll-off happens earlier. So these are really good with single coils, and yeah, the 55 Hertz speaker, other option here, is also similar. So let's just hear how it sounds like. I'll split my coils on my PRS to kind of make it sound like a Strat, I guess. Doesn't sound like a Strat, but you'll get the point. That's why this speaker is so epic. And well, let's play this thing. And if I play with my humbuckers, it'll sound just like... And this is all really simple. I'm using different IRs, but I'm not touching the amp at all. And this is just a single mic SM57 IR. The amp is the Friedman BE, so it's definitely nothing vintage. The only thing I changed was to drop down the depth to 1.5. But all these sounds will be through that amp sim. These two are definitely the most legendary speakers in this pack. But what's really interesting is these two speakers that were also manufactured and probably used on so many albums that we just don't know, because these are actually labeled the same way as these two. So many people may not have known that they were actually playing these speakers. You can only know if you look at the cones and you'll see a different cone serial number, then you'll realize that this is actually not the same speaker. So the H75 is the 75 hertz version of the H speaker. So this is also a guitar speaker with a lead cone, and the bass cone is here as the greenback M version. So I'm not sure if I did a good job explaining that, but essentially this is the 55 hertz version of the original greenback. So this speaker with the bass cone, and then the H75 is the heavy magnet with the same cone type as the original speaker has. So these are these fall in between these two speakers and all sound really good. So let's just hear how it sounds like. My beta group has lots of metal players, and they definitely think that this speaker is the best speaker out of the bunch. And interestingly enough, these actually sound a lot more, these in-between speakers sound a lot more like the original V30 spec Mesa speakers. So even if you look at the curve, you'll kind of see many similarities there. So this is the H75 doing something maybe a little bit heavier. And obviously I don't have that much gain on the amp if I boost it up a little bit. It'll really nail those metal type of tones as well, but I'm not trying to demonstrate that right now. The M55 then is the bass version of the medium magnet speaker, so it's more similar to the H55 in my opinion. Once again, really good with single coils. If you feel like the M75 is too bright with your Strat, then this is the one that you want to use. And this is also really good for metal. I was using a humbucker there, but if I split my coils once again, I'll get something cool. And maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't, but these are all single mic IRs. And for the 55 Hz cone, I prefer to use a brighter mic. So it's just the SM57 because it's a little bit more bass heavy. And the 75 Hz cone, I really like the M160. It's a little bit fatter. So these are kind of all balanced equally well. Well, obviously, now that we have all of these in here, we can try how they all sound together, blended in together. So if I just unmute this solo button, I can listen to them all in one mix. And this is blending together all the amazing history of pre-Rola speakers. So let's hear what it sounds like. So as you can hear, you can come up with so many cool options here. Even just blending maybe two of these speakers together, you get a completely different sound once again. With a humbucker. And just to remind you, I never touched anything in here. This is all done with just 4 IRs. So I think you'll enjoy this pack. Go check it out. I'll leave a link in the description and you can read more about it. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.